Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. Now we've been playing with the display, heads-up display, in green, when default it was amber. So I want to try for a brief second here what it would look like and what it would feel like playing in amber. It definitely has more of that desert feel, but boy does that not really feel like Fallout to me. So we're constantly getting overburdened, and so here's bodies from like Joe Cobb that we killed a long time ago, whereas the non-named characters have long since disappeared. Let's see if maybe we can craft anything. Break down things, certainly. I want these 308 large rifle things. Let's see, if I was to break down one of those, then that would give me one primer for large rifle. But I don't have, but I want to actually craft 308s. So unless it was a case where if I broke down one, that would let me craft more than one. Then, and I just don't know why it would work that way. This would let me craft more if I had lead, and I gave all my lead to Eddie. So we'll just go ahead and take everything from Eddie. Become overburdened. And while we're at it, might as well just
got
take
something good for me? Is it
everything from her. Okay. So if I want to make 308 rounds, I can make exactly one. So I broke down one, I can make one. I probably lost some resources in that whole process. I can make magnum rounds. I can't, but it's kicking me out of the menu every time. I can make rifle rounds. I can make 9mm rounds. I don't think I can make anything else. And it really just comes down to primers. So unless I got some skill, some perk that would require me to not have primers, or if I had some way to craft primers, the reload station seems to be fairly useless. I don't really know if there's a reason to convert micro cells into energy cells. We have about 3 different quests that we could finish today. Let's go ahead and see if we can equip even better skills as far as barter skills. Speech 10, luck 1. It's usually something that could be helpful. Nope, we don't have anything that would give us better barter skills in that case, but I do think we probably do have something. Now it'd be nice if Chet would have walked all the way to the front door, or if he was at the front door. So,
You looking to buy some supplies? Can do.
Jet has 5,000 caps right now. So let's start by seeing what we can sell that we kind of don't care about. Like authority glasses. Sure. It's like 0 caps. I don't know why that rounded down to 0. Says it's a value of 1. Seems like it's rounding upwards. This combat armor reinforced is probably what I want to keep. So, Legion protection armor, Legion veteran armor, lightweight leather armor of no value, NCR base wrap, NCR this, NCR that, and that. That one, and that one. Now, what I'm really trying to do here is sell anything that really is just not going to be that valuable, or that I could just come back and buy. So, let's make those same decisions now on guns that I just don't have enough bullets for. Well, before we do that, though, let's make those same decisions on any kind of food that is weighing me down, because inherently I'm always just getting weighed down, and 1 doctor's bag is probably more than enough. I'm not sure that this isn't just a permanent upgrade item. If I need to find some other way of getting more money, probably could sell drugs too. There is almost certainly going to be a decision to get achievements where at the very end of my game I'll just ruin my karma and start doing all the bad guy stuff, which hopefully you can pull that off without ruining a potential New Game Plus situation. You know, there are perks that would reset your karma. Certain point also, carrying pencils and items are probably weighing you down. I think these empty jet inhalers probably are something you can craft things with. Should I get rid of centaur blood? No. We'll get rid of poison glands. Okay. Now, none of this ammo has that high of a value. Anyways, I could sell things if I just am trying to get every single item from him. But if I sell this like .44 Magnum revolver at max, that already puts it too far. Need something in the 1600s. This 12.7 pistol looks interesting, so I kind of want to keep a hold on that. C4 plastic explosives are heavy. Dynamite is heavy. Frag grenades are heavy. Probably is best to just only sell things here that are already kind of at the high level. Yeah, I think that's about perfect. Just 200 left. Yeah. Roughly 100 left. About 40 left. So we'll probably just sell that and that. And then it would just be a question about, does he possibly have any cards or anything I would want to buy? Bet he doesn't. We still aren't in a place where gun runners, arsenal style guns are reasonable. Nor are we a point where I could buy the bullets I want to buy. I don't think he even sells the bullets I want to buy. I want to buy not 357s, but 308s, large rifle bullets. Do want to keep that, and then we'll sell just one of those, and we'll sell two of those.
Pleasure doing business with you. Take it easy now.
Okay, I am still over encumbered at this point. I could ship to Novak. What would I want to ship to Novak? I don't think it quite works that way. Works well enough. And this is too slow. Should have just put stuff in the dumpster next to it, instead of going inside the building and dumping items. How much are we? We are 46 pounds over weight still. It is ridiculous. Now, I think in Fallout 3, and you do have a drug that would let you increase your weight carrying and your strength temporarily. And that would be the one drug in a Fallout game that would make sense to me. Meanwhile, here is the Fallout experience in a nutshell. Being over encumbered and having to walk an extremely short distance to find any kind of inventory to drop things to. I promised I was going to take Veronica back to Hidden Valley, and that's going to... I imagine what happened there is I did enough missions with her that unlocked a quest. That would be my guess. And as such, she is now ready to leave me. Or we're going to do a companion quest, which may not end up with her leaving me. If she does leave me, that's going to be an unfortunate situation. Still want to return Vance's gun to Prim at some point. Do I have anything else holding me down? I question if I would. Stim packs, super stim packs don't have any weight. I guess it's also probably pretty obvious that we probably don't need any of this. Take like a hunting rifle, laser rifles, and try and add them all together. Alright. Okay, so 2 decisions there. One, this is as good of a way as any to go to Hidden Valley, and then we'll work our way up this direction and see these other locations. We have a whole bunch of other quests that are not companion quests, and we have Eddie's companion quest that I'm still not sure how to move that forward. There is also this sub-quest here, going to the last section here, checking out Vault 22. I could fast travel to the medical center now that I have over 4,000 caps and get another special stat upgraded, which, yeah, don't think. Maybe if we do the companion quest, we'll finally get a proper house. But I suspect the only proper house you're going to have is in the strip, and I should just pay more attention and use the strip. Go back to the strip and investigate it more. The other decision is I definitely want to change the display back to green. You know what? Let's try white for a second. We might as well experiment a little bit. If you call that white, I think you're probably slightly colorblind, because that is not white. That is white with a tinge of blue. It has been a really long journey since we left this area, time-wise. As far as actually feeling like we've done amazing stories and accomplished a lot, not really. We've wandered around, we've done quests, we've leveled up, we're at level 17. Feels like we probably should be closer to level 40. Playing on very easy does not seem like it is in any way interested in making the game actually shorter. There are a lot of systems that just don't give you XP when they should. Oh, interesting, across. There's not a lot of religion talked about in the Fallout universe. Churches do show up every now and then, but yeah, often they are religions that have sprung up in the hundreds of years after the Great War, not Judeo-Christian per se. Yancey Memorial. That's what this is labeled as. Let's see if we can get a general idea of what this is all about. Warning, death claws ahead. So this was the spot where we thought death claws would show up and start attacking us, and it definitely does feel like there's a limited area. Okay. If I was to go a little bit to the left, we could see Sloan. See a giant red scorpion. I'm not gonna hit it at this distance. So the advice was to stay away from the death claws, and if there was one animal in the entirety of the Fallout universe I would want to stay away from, it would be a death claw. So I will play it safe. If we lose Jessica as a companion, I am going to have to reevaluate what I can take on and what I can actually fight and what I can't actually fight. Yeah. Because while my gun skills have been improved somewhat, there's still a fairly high level there. What kind of item do I have equipped, by the way? I don't think I actually equipped any armor. Doesn't seem like that's going to stop the powder ganger from attacking me. And we're going to gain some armor. I'll go ahead and play fairly fast here. This is a Crimson Caravan Guard, so maybe there's a story to take from that. Maybe that was a sub-quest. You can hear more powder gangers showing up. Getting a decent amount of experience from killing those. So I don't know, maybe this was supposed to be the whole move to start with, is that you were supposed to take on the powder gangers. That, I believe, is the prison that we already investigated and killed all the powder gangers, or almost all the powder gangers in there. The problem is there really is just no early point in the game where it even makes sense to pick up the garbage items. It's always fairly pointless. And there I see a warning for death claws. That's surprising. The TNT exploded in his hand as we were fighting him. Let's go as far as investigating to this point. That seems like Sloan would be right up there. And we'll go and investigate that later. One assumes at one time the Mojave Desert was under a salt ocean, and one would assume that the salt water eventually became too acidic and killed all the life in it, and then it eventually just evaporated away. So you just have an entire section here called the Hidden Valley, and I don't know if this is DLC or not, but it definitely seems isolated, where the Brotherhood of Steel are. And I don't know if this is supposed to be Area 51. I think Area 51 probably wouldn't be this close to Las Vegas, but it would certainly make a lot of sense to have an Area 51 location play a role in some DLC. Okay. You can see there's air vents, and very possibly they're actively and intentionally creating this area of hiddenness. Although I question if the Brotherhood of Steel is attacking. Yep. Bark scorpions, I wasn't expecting that. So getting 10 XP for every one of those. Yeah, I really couldn't imagine that the Brotherhood of Steel is just low key about anything, and would heavily suspect that you would see them in their power suits walking out of this area. You could just spot them from a mile away. Right, local map, I guess, is what we're going to have to follow. Veronica, voiced by Felicia Day, not really giving us a hint as to how to actually reach the Brotherhood of Steel.
Hey!
Looks like it probably was placed in such a place, in such a way that it would always be at the back. Just let them take on a bunch of bark scorpions. So there was a whole other entrance on this side I could have also done. Notice how the effect disappears too abruptly and not subtly. A modern game would be much more subtle. And then we've got some peace hippie type graffiti, which, you know, this kind of nuclear disarmament, that's what this is supposed to be. This is a D, and then there is supposed to be an N also in this somehow. It's supposed to be the letter ND for the peace symbol. Although I don't really see how you get in an N to see where you get a D from. But yeah, if there was more of that after the bomb spell, after the Great War, it would make a lot of sense. But that's not really how most Fallout characters seem to play it. It is much more they worship nuclear bombs and nuclear technology, nuclear energy, and they still somehow have turned the Great War as being inevitable or good, and using many nukes and things still happens quite a bit. It would make sense for there to be at least one faction that was anti-nuclear everything, instead of a faction called Child of the Atom, for instance, which was in Fallout 3. But also, before the pre-war, I think anybody who spoke out against nuclear bombs was probably just called a communist or thrown in jail. And the Fallout universe seems to be exclusively run on nuclear power technology for the most part, so I don't think you can. They could fully give it up. I think they were addicted to it in the same way that many people claim people in the real world are addicted to petroleum oil-based energy. Not willing to give up the luxuries of modern life to adapt a different form of energy. Okay. So, why are we here? Because Veronica, voiced by Felicia Day, I assume has made some progress in her companion level with us. Could we see that, though? Let's see. Is there anything here that speaks of companion quest, or is it all just internal stuff? Yeah. You don't really have any relationship to the Brotherhood of Steel. So let's do this. You hear nothing. Hello? You hear nothing. Alright, well you talk to him. Then.
Wow, Mr. House is looking for you, huh? What do you think he wants? Bowling partner?
Let's see.
My favorite subject. I want a dress. Yeah, a good one. Something elegant and classy, you know? But
We're gonna
still
have to
stylish.
exhaust her
Something that's
dialogue.
eye-catching and sexy, but also says, don't fuck with me. I keep hoping I'll come across some old world designer gown when I'm scavenging, but it never happens. Maybe I should move back to California. Hey, you try getting a date wearing scribe robes. Might as well be wearing sweatpants. I just like them, you know? They make you feel like a woman. Those ladies before the war, they knew what they were doing. Can I make it up? I would say he was my tutor, but that doesn't cover it. After my parents passed, he looked after me. The whole Brotherhood brought me up, really, but he made sure of it. I never had a grandfather, not that I knew anyway. But Elijah was in some ways what I'd imagined a grandfather to be. It was by his request, actually. He cleared it with the other elders. Somehow. They sent him to look into the dam. There was a time when I had begged to follow. Watch him at work. He did. For years he fought with the council. Taught me to question our direction. Meanwhile, he'd become more out of touch than all of them. On our way east, he demanded we stop at Helios 1 to examine it. While we were there, we received word that the NCR had taken the dam. He was furious. Called it children playing with a bomb, but he was mad because we'd lost its power. What we'd use it for. He didn't even care. They're cautious. When they discover something, they respect it, learn its limits, consider how to preserve it. Used to drive Father Elijah crazy. He liked to learn limits too, but only so he could push them. That's not to excuse the other elders, though. They all covet technology for its own sake. Some are just more fanatical than others. Yeah, I did. I couldn't help him. He just didn't listen. And the idea that people talk back to him... If he could have made the Brotherhood act like machines, ordering them around with the push of a button, he would have.
I'm hoping this dialogue leads to a way to get in here. Otherwise, I don't understand why the quest would have wanted me to come here if we couldn't do anything.
Elijah could look at an old device and immediately understand what made it work. And he could see its potential, where it fit with other technology. It's not something he could teach, but he tried with me. Some of it stuck. But that's what he taught me. You ask what I learned from him. I learned what I don't want to become. In the end, there was just him and his vision. Nothing and no one else.
It definitely feels to me like the Brotherhood of Steel is just run by a council of kind of directionless fathers, scribes, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I miss him. I don't know. Last time anyone saw him was in the battle at Helios 1. I wasn't there. He gave orders to hold the plant until it could be reactivated, but he ran out of time. The NCR overran it. Everyone thought he was dead. But I got a note from him at a comm station. That's how he liked to talk, even to me. He wasn't good at face-to-face. It was strange, even for Father Elijah.
I wonder if we've
He's
already
always been
met Father
unstable,
Elijah.
but this was something else. I don't want to say delusional, but I don't know what else to call it. The only thing familiar about it was the signature. He said the Brotherhood was doomed, but that he'd return, save us. But the way he said it, I don't know. Said he'd
Maybe
return
he
as
went
one of
crazy.
the greatest treasures of the old world. Make the Mojave like it was meant to be. Wipe the slate clean.
I wonder if this has to do anything with Vault 22.
Like what? Just my parents, but they haven't been around for a long time. Dad was a paladin, Mom was a scribe. They died in the same battle, trying to hold off the NCR from... something. I don't remember what it was. Guess it seemed important at the time. Like what?
Not getting a lot here.
Ever been nosy? I was, once. We were pretty young, but I like to think it was love. She left the Brotherhood. Wanted to put some distance between herself and her parents.
Now,
Since our
this is like
membership
the
isn't open to
third
outsiders, some members think that obligates all
girl
of us
on
to
girl
procreate. You can
romance
guess
that's
which
been
camp her
mentioned,
parents belong to.
with there barely being two male and female romances being really mentioned. It's coming off as a little bit too unbalanced. Let's put it that way. Too pro-LGBT for what is realistic. Yeah, you ideally want to see a more even balance of 50-50, downright to the point where the game could just flip a coin internally and decide whether the romance is guy on guy, girl on girl, or girl and guy. Or if you even want to go further than that and have like polygamy and thruples and quadruples, things like that. All of which would be ways to tell interesting randomized stories or just tell bespoke handwritten stories. But yeah, there's been no guy on guy romance, which for a game of this age that makes a lot of sense. And too many girl on girl, like I said. Not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Seinfeld, but it definitely feels imbalanced. And I imagine it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I chose to play as a female character.
No. Couldn't bring myself to leave everyone else behind. Couldn't convince her to stay, either. I'd hoped love would be enough to influence her decision, but it wasn't. We were both too stubborn. I don't know where she is now, but I'm sure she's moved on. I still think about her, though. Once in a while.
Now, I can say the voice actress Felicia Day, or voice actor Felicia Day, I think they all go by actor nowadays, was very much pro-LGBTQ+, back in her day, and probably still is, the same amount, if not more. But last I heard, she was actually straight and had a child fairly recently, and that was in part why her career stalled and she kind of disappeared from the limelight. But yeah, let's see, let's continue to exhaust everything. One last one.
If you take trying to keep me as far away from Hidden Valley as possible because I ask too many difficult questions as a sign of respect, oh yeah. That's not to say I don't get along with them. I just think they don't know what to do with me sometimes.
So I almost wonder...
Ooh, got any juicy gossip? See you around.
I almost wonder if this isn't a case where we're just going to sneak in, and if we are going to find out that this area, which I'm not sure if this is a vault or not, has been devastated or overrun. Okay, I was not expecting that. So back out we go. This is some other maybe back door. Either that, or we are going to have to get on the other side of Hidden Valley and see if maybe there's another entrance. That does certainly explain why we weren't really seeing a reaction to being in that location. That does feel very weird that you would have a backdoor entrance that led to nothing. If you were going to do things like this, it definitely would make more sense to have bunkers throughout the entirety of the world, makeshift bunkers or otherwise. I wonder if this isn't supposed to be telling me a story where people were in these bunkers when the Great War happened and people were hoping to survive. You'd think that instead of just vaults there would be fallout shelters. I almost wonder if this is procedurally generated and each of these bunkers are going to be the wrong one, and then I'll find a right one. But it doesn't really work either. If you're going to have bunkers like that, I don't want to have to go through a loading screen. I would like to find them more stocked up in resources. For gameplay reasons, I kind of want to be able to shoot a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel people, but I don't think it's going to really play that way. And even if it was going to play that way, I feel like I'd probably get my butt handed to me.
Hold on, I've got this.
So now she
I'd
does
like
something.
a large atomic shake and a double Brahmin burger. And easy on the agave sauce this time.
We gave you a password, Veronica. It's for your safety.
I know where you live, Ramos. Open up.
For Pete's sake. Opening up. Welcome back, Veronica.
Let's see, is this going to lead to a Vault-Tec vault or a United States military vault or military bunker? It seems like it's a military bunker, although the Fallout TV series kind of makes it seem like the United States had completely run out of money and was contracting all bunkers to be built by Vault-Tec instead. It feels like at sometimes they should just tell you to put your gun away and just be peaceful, or automatically put your gun away.
Listen up. I'm in charge of security around here, and I can't say I'm too happy about having an outsider waltzing around. But since you came in with Veronica, I'm inclined to cut you a little slack. Just behave yourself, and we won't have any problems, okay? Oh, and the Elder's going to want to talk to you. He's on the 2nd level. Just take a right once you get down there. My office is right here in case you need anything. Just ask for Ramos.
So, this is, I think, the experience that we could have had in Vault 3 also, is we could have come in to Vault 3 and been on good terms with them. Then we could have actually communicated and talked to them.
Looking sharp, Ramos.
Let's
Oh,
see.
hey there. Something I can help you with? That's right. Nothing gets in or out of here without me knowing it. Under the lockdown, only essential personnel are permitted to enter or leave. That includes supply runners and high-security patrols. All other personnel are forbidden to leave, and any personnel that were out there when the lockdown was enacted are forbidden from returning.
Are they under lockdown right now?
Fine by me. Bye.
So we're not sure that when we get there it will be the same elder, or if it won't be a crazy elder, or if the elder is actually a synth robot and that's why he's looking for memory cores, or if Eddie as a character is going to play some role in this. There's a lot of possibilities. Okay, it said take a right on the 2nd floor. Now this whole layout feels somewhat similar to the layout of the alien abduction DLC. I feel like I'm just not going to be able to take anything, so it's going to be fairly pointless to do much.
You're being
You got
watched, so don't get
turrets.
any ideas.
And paladins. So let's see if we can just communicate. Yeah, and this definitely was a thing in the UFL DLC, is that you would have these raised floors. Unless
Hello, you must
she
be the
wants
outsider
to
everyone's
buy
talking
something
about.
from me, or
I'm
sell
Linda
me
Schuller.
something.
If you ever need medical attention, this is the place to come. Yes, I handle all medical needs in the bunker. If you're ever wounded, normally I'd just be the base's medical officer. We have equipment here to treat most physical injuries. Lacerations, broken bones, that sort of thing. We also carry a full supply of antitoxins. You may have noticed the bark scorpions up above. Though tiny, their venom packs quite a punch. Treating scorpion stings is my most common procedure. I can also treat any form of radiation sickness you pick up out in the waste.
Do we really need this
No matter
full
what
explanation?
save the last. I'm this bunker's head scribe in everything but name. I supervise the research teams. I collate the reports. I attend the meetings. But for reasons beyond me, that buffoon Taggart still gets the title. And don't get me started on that little pet of his. Everyone around here knows what's going on there but her. Oh, I tried. The Elder listened patiently to my carefully constructed argument regarding why the buffoon should lose his position. Then he just as patiently explained to me that Taggart's work was vital to our cause, and that he wasn't to be trifled with lesser matters. But vital to our cause? Hardly.
So we've got some relationships we're going to
I suppose I have a few things around that I can spare.
dance around. Honestly, the only thing I'd really like to buy here would be let's see, what would I like to buy? Cards. Yeah. I probably want to keep fixers. And then I think of what I want to start to do is just get rid of a lot of stuff that is filling up my items. I guess buff out gives you +2 strength, so if you took one of those that would help you become de-encumbered. Yeah. Intelligence +2, charisma +1. Probably don't need that anymore. Damage +25%. Stealth boy. Could be selling super stim packs or just stim packs.
Thanks. Later.
So really, I'm just draining her caps
Still breaking
inventory.
hearts there, I see, Scribe Schuler.
How may I assist you? Let's talk to
You
this
must be the
person.
stranger I've been hearing about. Sorry, but I'm strictly forbidden from offering our tech to outsiders like yourself. Besides, I'm a little busy right now.
See if we can find another quest. But this feels like may happen. This is a shooting gallery. I may become a Brotherhood of Steel member. That's what happened in Fallout 3. At least. It would then give you permission to use their power
Hey,
armor
Torres.
and buy their tech from them. But it does seem to me like there might be a more larger mystery here. Here we have just a bunch of initiates, low level, and apprentice.
Yeah? Head scribe Taggart quickly realized my extraordinary talent when I took the mandatory VR combat testing. Soon after that, he requested that I get transferred to VR specialist training, serving as his assistant. I miss
So this
hanging
is
out
the
with the other
pet.
students all the time, but at least I get to skip all those boring lectures.
So, there was a DLC in Fallout 3 where you did a VR experience, and it was called, I think, Operation Anchorage. It worked pretty well, in particular since it changed the style of gameplay. It was way more of a run and gun game where picking up resources didn't matter as much and you weren't trying to level up or talk to people. It was just running and shooting enemies.
It's our virtual reality training hall. We don't really go out all that often anymore, so this is how we stay sharp. Yeah, a lot more. Back when we were at the Helios station. Oh, crap. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to talk about that, especially with outsiders. So forget you just heard that, okay?
You have this glowing in her eyes, and you can see it in the character on the right's eyes too. And that's a great indication of just where the level of face modeling and light reflection was programmed to for a game this old.
Well, like just
it's
about
fairly
everyone else
distracting.
Here, I grew up in the Brotherhood. My father was a scribe and my mother a paladin. They both died at Helios 1. The others were always like a family to me before that, but afterward they became my family in truth. Well, like just about everyone else. I don't know. I'm a little like both of them, I guess. If I had to choose, I really don't know which I'd pick. That's a question I've been asked a lot lately, since it's something I have to decide for myself soon. I'm currently an apprentice in the Brotherhood, and recently became eligible for journeyman status. But first I have to decide which order I want to join, the Knights or the Scribes.
So, you know, seems like it's a fairly bad system where you have to decide which order you're going to join and seemingly never be able to switch it.
Knights are in charge of all of our equipment. Power armor, Gatling lasers, you name it. All of it built and maintained by Knights. Knights also get to go out on patrols, scouting assignments, and support the Paladins in offensive operations. Being a Knight would mean getting to see more of the world, fight the Brotherhood's enemies, and possibly someday become a Paladin like my mother. Well, like just... That's a question.
But see, if we want to hear the other line of dialogue, we have to go through several repeated lines of
The Scribes are
dialogue.
responsible for discovering how all
There's
the
better
old tech
ways to
we
write
recover
that.
actually works, and sometimes even work on inventing new things. Without them, the Brotherhood could never fulfill its mission. Or at least that's what my dad always used to say.
So
Bye.
that dialogue tree in particular just really goes to show where a lot of this game is programmed via spreadsheet more than via a artist on canvas experience, because had the programmer played that experience and assumed that the player wanted to get both lines of dialogue, they would have just written it so it would have been, tell me more about the Scribes and the Paladins, or the Scribes and the Knights, as one prompt, and then she should have just had dialogue to explain what both were.
Sorry, but I'm a little busy here, if you'll excuse me.
So if this is supposed to be VR, this doesn't look like VR. So they're probably in a different room from where they were supposed to first be seen. Although I haven't seen a VR room yet. This would definitely be the wrong place to play as the bad guy and try and shoot your way through here. You would have to be particularly good. Here we have a teacher that is talking and pretending like he's writing on the board, which if you're going to animate them to write on the board, then you probably need to make a full animation cycle where he actually does write on the board and then erases it eventually and starts over. And see, you could have some fun with that. Certainly have him give a fairly long, boring lecture, and then at the end just turn around and see that there's nobody here and sigh, and then erase everything and start again. You could even have one of the students come in, sit down, and then when he turns his back and starts talking, stand up and leave, if you wanted to have that kind of in-world comedic twist to things. Yep. So had we just gone straight, would have led us here. And then this leads to bathrooms, which everything seems to be in the best possible shape and as clean as possible, within some reason. Although we may get to the casinos and we may just see these same 3D models with absolutely pristine textures over them, even cleaner than what we're seeing here. We still are running into the problem though, where they have added a ton of bathrooms in this game and none of it matters. There's just never anything of any value in any of it. And pretty obviously there should be something of value. And then we have to load to level 2 after seeing all that, and then they said go right to talk to the elder. Maybe the elder will just hire us to find more memory modules for him. Here we can see they've got a map here showing several
Veronica.
important pieces of information.
We'll know in a second. I wanted to talk to you.
Pausing for a second
Veronica,
to see
tell me this isn't
if the
about-
sound effect I'm hearing
yes,
is...
goddammit, it is. But you're gonna hear me out this time.
We've been through this.
The things I've seen now, other groups succeeding where we fail, it's not too late for us.
We've outlasted the end of
So,
the world. We'll outlast these obstacles.
This isn't Father Elijah.
Waiting in a hole for everyone else to die.
If we must.
This is a dead end for us.
I see no evidence of that. Nor do I see anyone out there with a solution to our problems.
How could you? You're too scared to look. Let's go. We're wasting our time.
So was that the entire quest? Yeah, I don't know what's making this sound effect. If it's this. Every time it stops, it makes a kind of shutter effect, I think. Well, you know what? I'm gonna pause for a second. Now's a good time to take a break anyways, and just make sure that the sound effect is in game, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, that seems like that is just in game. It's an odd little sound effect I was hearing. Yeah. Whenever this moves, it makes just kind of like a little knocking sound effect. I am somewhat confused here as far as I could make you care quest, in that it seems like it really just wanted us to walk here and find this location.
When Paladin Ramos informed me that Veronica was approaching with an outsider
Maybe I'm
in
supposed
tow,
to talk
at
to this
first
guy.
I didn't know what to think. After giving the matter some thought, however, I've decided that an outsider could be of use to me right now. However, I will not force you to help us. Should you refuse, you will be allowed to leave here, though you'd remain Veronica's responsibility. What do you say, outsider? Are you willing to help us?
Sure.
Then allow me to explain our situation. This bunker is currently locked down, allowing no entry or exit, with you being one of the few exceptions. In exceptional cases, teams are sent out to investigate sites or retrieve materials deemed too important to ignore. 3 such teams have gone missing recently. and the news of their disappearance has not yet been widely spread to avoid undue concern. In order to maintain the peace and adhere to the strictures of the lockdown, I need to send someone else to discover what happened to them.
Well, I think I already have found one of the patrols, so let's go with that.
While that is disheartening news, there remains hope that the other 2 patrols may still be found alive.
So
I'm glad I can count on you. Oh, and one other thing. The patrols each had a holotape detailing their missions that you can use to track them. The shielding of the bunker prevents us from actively tracking them, but their positions should show up on your map once you get to the surface. Should our worst fears become realized, please bring back all 3 of the holotapes from the patrols. Otherwise, bring our brothers home. I've given the order that you be given access to some of the equipment our scouts and patrols have scavenged over the years. You won't be allowed to purchase any prohibited equipment, but hopefully some of what's available will prove useful to you.
okay. So found Repcon. We need to go at Nellis Air Force Base and Black Mountain. Are the other 2 locations, and I think both of those locations are probably fairly far away. I would guess Searchlight Airport is not Nellis Air Force Base. Okay. I would have thought Black Mountain might be here. Here's Nellis Air Force Base. Interesting. Then where would Black Mountain be? Seems like we may have to find it. Alright, well, we'll figure that one out. Here's Black Mountain. Okay, that's not too far to even go and investigate. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. We could probably go through the fence back this way to this and work our way back to Sloan that way. Still not sure how that quest is supposed to end.
Found the missing patrols, or was something else on your mind? I can spare a little time. What did you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the lockdown.
It's a protective measure that was enacted after our defeat at Helios. The NCR was hot on our heels, and we wouldn't have survived another encounter. It was decided that we would stay quiet for a time, heal the wounded, and try to come up with a new strategy. However, after we had fully recuperated, our first scouting measures showed that the NCR's presence in this region had only increased in our absence. There are now more than 5 times the number of NCR troops in the area as when we fought them. And we have half the number we did at Helios. And so the lockdown has been extended. To go outside would be the death of us all. We have some personnel that are allowed to travel on the surface.
Let's exhaust all this.
They trade for what
dialogue.
we need and occasionally drop off what... We make sure that they only enter or leave... That is this base's defensive system. It serves as camouflage. We use it to hide our patrols and supply runners. Though we still send... Later.
Wow, that's an odd later line of dialogue. You get that in some of the voice acting of video games. Is that it's pretty obvious they will have them say lines of dialogue in the abstract with no understanding of when that line of dialogue would be played, and they
I'd
probably
slept him
have.
around, but he stood at my parents' wedding. Plus, he used to make excuses to get me out of my punishment when I'd slept through Head Scribe Taggart's lectures. Figure I owe him for that. He means well.
Okay. So what now?
I'm not giving up. He wants evidence, but he'll never go looking for it. He's scared I'm right. He'll never listen unless I hold the proof right in front of his face.
Let's see.
He's a stubborn old man, but when it comes down to it, he's got our best interests at heart. If he sees some indisputable sign we're on the wrong course, he won't ignore it. I don't know. We need something that shows the Brotherhood will fail, or that it can do better a different way. The only thing that gets his attention is technology. Maybe Father Elijah had the right idea. Our elder before McNamara, he had a nose for recovering lost technology. He'd send scribes out into the desert chasing whatever leads he found.
So this is going to send me to find some kind of technology.
I can think of at least one that'd prove my point, if it still exists.
This is really, really dark.
There's a comm terminal not too far from here. I'd use to access messages from him. If we go there, I can pull up his research
anybody
on it.
that's suffering through this game with a bad bad monitor that's not been calibrated.
That's my question to the Elder. All these years, the Brotherhood has collected weapons technology. And for what? To keep it out of people's hands? That clearly hasn't worked. To defend ourselves? We can't compete with the NCR's numbers, or the Legion's. We're fighting a war for a lost cause. If we're gonna survive, we have to find a role in society, attract new members. Look at the followers of the Apocalypse. They use their expertise to improve people's lives. They train them to be self-sufficient. That expertise cultivates respect and gratitude, spreads their ideals, draws talent to their cause. They make friends like we make enemies. But they don't know a fraction of what we know. If we took on their role, we could stand up to anyone. We wouldn't have to hide.
So it's important to point out that this Brotherhood of Steel faction
So, you're the outsider that's been given leave to wander around
is not likely the same faction in Fallout 3.
Name's Harden.
So
I'm the head paladin of this chapter.
they may act differently.
I think we might be able to help each other out. I don't know what the Elder talked to you about, but I can tell you this chapter is in trouble. And he's at the center of it. Are you willing to listen to what I have to say?
Okay, let's listen.
As you may have already heard, this entire base is under a state of lockdown. No one goes out except small patrols at night. Most of the chapter has been sealed in here for years.
Weird they have a
And
guy
those few who
balding.
were outside when the lockdown was initiated are forbidden from returning. Morale has plummeted as time has gone by. And many
Makes
of our
sense
current
though, with
paladins haven't seen
radiation you would
combat
have
outside of
characters like
training
that.
simulations. And all because of the Elder's explicit order that no one be allowed in or out. The only way things will change is if a new Elder is installed. I would. I'm the senior-most paladin in the chapter, and have more combat experience than any two others here put together. I'd gladly support another candidate, but no one has the courage to step forward and make the attempt, so it falls to me. I would put this chapter back on the right path, if I could just assume leadership.
So.
I don't know. I've gone through our records dozens of times looking for a precedent regarding the dismissal of an elder and come up with nothing. The people who are most likely to know how it could be done are also some of McNamara's strongest supporters, so they refuse to help me.
Sounds like he doesn't have enough support.
An outsider such as yourself would arouse less suspicion asking questions about such matters. The fact that the Elder has some tasks for you means his faithful won't suspect you, and you have a line open to the man himself. In short, you're in a perfect position to help me. Will you at least think about it? That'll have to
Might as well take quests.
I'd recommend going to see Ramos first. As head of security, he's more familiar with our protocols than anyone else here. You could also try to find something relevant in our data store, though last I heard Scribe Ibsen is having a bit of a problem accessing it. And if McNamara should give you any tasks, I'd ask that you kept me abreast of them. Report anything you find to me, and we'll move from there.
Let's turn on our flashlight.
Harden?
I hope you've been practicing your
What is this? Veronica brings an outsider into our home, then has a private audience with the Elder?
a lot of
The two of you may have
just
nailed us both,
automatic
but we know
dialogues.
better.
Why not just have
Veronica
these
has always
conversations
twisted the founder's
more
principles
separated
to her
out?
own ends. We will not stand idly by and allow her to corrupt our elders' thinking.
Thrills, Veronica. It's dangerous outside.
Sorry about
Sp-
that. Just because I love them doesn't mean some of them aren't assholes.
Getting the flashlight not really helping much. A lot of just automatic conversations happening here.
Hey,
Okay. Let's see. So, to access the data store, let's see.
we have a duty to preserve the past.
Can we fix the data store? Or
Hey. Look, this isn't a great time. Oh, what the hell? It's not like we're making any progress. I'm Ibsen, and I hope your day is going better than mine is. Yeah, I'm in charge of keeping this
so we
data
have a
system
whole
up and
bunch of
running,
new
but
quests now.
accessing it is a little, touch and go at the moment.
Let's just skip, see if we can skip some dialogue here.
I could use some assistance, sure, but I highly doubt you have the technical background to help us deal with this virus.
This may be the first instance I've ever seen in a Fallout game with a virus being mentioned, a computer virus being mentioned.
Yeah, some pre-war jackass with too much time on his hands apparently decided to inflict his misery on those around him. It's scrambling all the terminals here at the moment. Luckily, we only use this section for storing historical data. I suppose it couldn't hurt to get another pair of eyes on this. Maybe you'll be able to come up with something coming at it fresh. While the entire system is infected, the virus itself is spread across 3 terminals. The problem is that it keeps moving periodically. We'll have it nailed down in a terminal or 2, only to have it jump to another set of terminals before we locate the 3rd.
Science is high enough. Can the virus's files be partitioned so read access is only provided by the kernel administrator?
What? No, that's brilliant. It would let us seal a portion of the virus to a particular terminal, even when the other parts move. Best of luck to you. I'll tell the others to
That
take a
gave
break
me
so they don't
70
get in your way.
XP.
Oh, and I'll keep track of when it jumps for you. To maximize your chances, wait for my signal before you begin.
Hello, outsider.
Okay.
How may I assist you?
So are we waiting for a signal?
Someone blew up the monorail the NCR uses
Don't
to
work too
travel to
hard
the
there,
strip and
Ibsen.
back. We should use
Yes.
this time to strike.
The virus just jumped. Find which terminals it went to.
Okay. Alright, so we're expecting something different. I guess. There's a move here. And so we're, I think, probably just running around. We got one.
10 seconds.
So we now know what the prompt would be. 2.
Damn, it's jumped. I thought we might have had it that time.
Do I have to access the data store? I might be making a wrong mistake here. So this is basically just running around hitting A bunch. We got part of it, I think. At least I think that's the general idea to assume.
Hello, outside. Keep an eye on Veronica here. She's a sharp one.
guys are getting in the way.
You're being watched, so don't get...
We got that partition, so it won't do it again.
Did you want to try isolating the virus?
Yes.
All right. I'll monitor when it jumps. When I give the signal, start checking terminals.
Alright, so I'm gonna start over here this time. We're probably in the same place each time.
The virus just jumped. And which terminals it went to.
Morning.
I'm just not sure if it's this first menu or if it's in the second menu.
Damn, it's jumped.
Alright, let's try that again.
Did you want to try isolating the virus? All right. I'll monitor when it jumps. When I give the signal, start checking terminals.
Now remember, you just don't have a run option in this game, so it's not like there's a faster way to do this, as far as I know.
The virus just jumped. Find which terminals it went to.
Okay, we got 2 now.
Seconds.
Am I missing a terminal? Or is there another trick to this?
Damn, it's jumped. I thought we might have had it that time. Did you want to try isolating the virus? All right. I'll The
Wait
virus
till it's
just
jumped.
jumped.
Not
Find which
here.
terminals it went to.
Not here. Probably not there. Not here. We've been to all these though. So this does feel somewhat random.
Seconds.
Seems like we're going everywhere.
Jumped. I thought we might have
Is
had
there
it that
another
time.
one down this way? It doesn't seem like it.
Did you want to try isolating the virus? All right.
So yeah, I don't see any way you would have pulled this off originally. So it feels like it's just a half and half shot that you have to go through half of the terminals and hope that one of them is randomly assigned. is there possibly a faster way
10 seconds.
to do all of this? Is there another computer terminal somewhere around here? Yeah, no, I don't think searching the same terminals. Am I doing it wrong by not accessing the database? I think I'm gonna have to try that.
Did you want to try isolating the virus?
It shouldn't take that long.
The virus just jumped. Find which terminals it went to. That's it. We got it. The virus has been purged.
So yeah, you have to click the access database to do that.
You actually did it. If you don't mind my saying so, I didn't think you had a chance in hell of pulling it off. But I'm glad to be wrong for once. Thank you, my friend. Please feel free to access the data store at your leisure. I'm only allowed to give you access to non-classified topics, but it's better than nothing, right?
Let's ask the less dangerous questions.
Well, you'd have to get a senior level member of the chapter to unlock a topic for you. I've given you access to what I can, but that's not much. The majority of topics fall under Ramos's aegis, since they'd constitute a security risk. Good luck getting anything out of him. You might have better luck with another member of the senior staff. Try talking to them about it. Oh, all kinds of things. There was already information.
See, now if this gave me a whole bunch of like
bunker,
crafting
our own data as well.
schematics,
Prior to the lockdown, we had extensively scouted the surrounding area and
or
compiled
if this gave me a
dossiers on
bunch of
nearby points of
map
interest.
points of interest.
I can understand how the man might be frustrated by the current situation. He's a take-charge sort of fellow. Standing around's not his strong suit. I myself often wish we could end this interminable stasis and begin moving forward again. Bye.
Right, so am I going to have to go to every single terminal, or can I just read, or pretend to read everything from one?
Morning.
Let's see if there's something different here. Nope. Seems to me like it's all the same information on all the terminals. Let's just pick another one at random just to be certain. Okay. Moving forward. So here are your VR tubes. There was a whole section like that in Fallout 4 where there was a vault you got into that was all VR. And so this is where you probably were supposed
Hello,
to
outsider.
meet the students too. I wonder if Taggart is trying to
I can
brainwash.
hardly notice that lazy eye anymore, Watkins.
Still hiding that
Self-destruct.
hair of yours, Veronica.
Terminal. Self-destruct. Authorization terminal. Why would I self-destruct? So he is Watkins. Let's talk to Taggart.
Yes, what is it? Ah, the outsider. I suppose it's too much to ask that jarhead Ramos to keep... I am head scribe Taggart, and I am...
So, the doctor didn't like him.
Yeah?
Bye.
She doesn't have anything new to say. He decided to stop moving as soon as I started talking to her. guess if we destroyed the VR
Hello, outsider.
stuff, then the Brotherhood would have to go out.
Hello, outsider.
Let's talk to Senior Knight Lauren, who seems to be mimicking writing on a chalkboard with a piece of chalk in his hand, although he is not in front of a chalkboard. So I imagine he was supposed to be over here, and the game is just glitching.
Hmm? Oh, you must be the outsider everyone's buzzing about. Pleased to meet you. I'm Lorenzo, senior... Bye.
I have literally nothing to talk to him about. That's interesting. You know, little electric traps being in the game wouldn't be a terrible thought. We didn't get any new crafting abilities from the database. I'm not really seeing snow globes or books either. It definitely feels like there should be at least a book in every location.
The bunker takes a little getting used to, doesn't it?
Nothing new there. And I imagine there aren't snow globes or books inside the tool cabinets.
You look tired.
I wonder if the idea was to pickpocket somebody to get their access to the computers. It all just comes off as a little too shady. So, and I don't think I want to replace the current elder unless I'm going to go and find Elijah, Father Elijah, alive and well somewhere. We can see the game is glitching visually. It's probably safe. Smart move to make a safety save, even though we did just load.
Then you bring your second unit up to provide covering fire, like so.
Now this isn't an overwhelming city. It's fairly limited by the looks of it, and not too big of a base. No house for you though, as far as I can tell. That seems weird that still can't really do anything.
The word came down from the Elder that I'm to offer you some of our lesser wares. If you must know, my inventory check this week shows that our weapon count is 1 short. Somehow we're missing a laser pistol. Hardin will have my head if I don't find that weapon soon. I can't delay my report to him any longer. If you happen to find it, bring it here right away. I might be able to throw a few supplies your way if you do. Have you found it? I need to give my report to Hardin soon. Then we have nothing. Our patrols are always bringing more stuff in. Take a look.
308 rounds, believe, are what I'm looking for. So we'll buy that. And I guess that this is the one location where you can actually buy the items you're looking for. Here we have a mini nuke launcher, which this may be the only location you ever find that. This marksman carbine looks like one to buy. 2. Question is, can I supplement all that money I would be paying? Sure. I think I can. Where did I get all these items? Oh yeah, I picked all of these up from Powder Gang people. Meanwhile, still got stuff to sell. Where did I get so much junk? Well, again, it must have been the Powder Gang. Can we... Yeah, I think we are at the point where we're going to have to just straight up sell stim packs. Which I'm okay with that, actually. Sell half of our Rad-X too. Still like 900 short. I want to sell Nuka-Colas. Gotta have something else of value. Rockets? Mini nukes. There we go.
Pleasure doing business with you. Bye.
So she had a decent amount of gold there. Or caps. And we can equip this marksman carbine. Yeah, that's an intriguing experience. Now I suspect what we will find is missing gun. Could be down here. What I wasn't expecting to find, however, was that there would be an entire subfloor sleeping section. It's an intriguing thought, certainly, to have a subfloor. Although I don't know why you would really do that. They do that in bunkers because usually there's supplies and water on the subfloor, and I guess this is a bunker, so that might make sense. I don't think I want to hack terminals. I don't think Veronica can follow me. Or Eddie. Maybe it's Eddie that can't follow me. Somebody sounds like they're flopping around. Maybe I'm the one flopping around. If I don't find the laser rifle here, I'm not sure where else to look for it. So I guess that would be the way to get to the armory, which you may only be able to access that if you shot the place up. We could search footlockers and find laser pistols, I imagine. All over the place. So how would we know it's the right laser pistol? And then you have an inaccessible door. Is there a way to get under the ground in that spot? Yeah, if you were a real bad guy, I imagine you would hack this and then the turrets would kill all of the people. Let's talk to Ramos for the other reasons.
Your presence here, less outsiders aren't. You impressed Elder
Let's ask this question.
So you've been talking to Harden, eh? He's been looking for a way to usurp McNamara ever since the lockdown started. Don't get me wrong, he's a good man. But Elder McNamara has done all right by us. If it weren't for him, none of us would have survived at Helios. I'll tell you what I told Harden. There have been only a few cases of elders being dismissed from their posts in the Brotherhood's history. And those involve crimes that someone like Elder McNamara is just not capable of. You can look it up for yourself if you want. I'll grant you access to that portion of the history section of our data store. See Senior Scribe Ibsen about accessing it. I'm sure someone's told you all this before. Several years back, we were running our chapter out the Helios 1 solar power station. Our elder at the time, Elijah, had some kind of obsession with the place, which is the only reason we stayed as long as we did. That place was hardly defensible, and we knew the NCR was moving in on us, but the elder refused to budge, insisting that he just needed more time. We never found out what he needed time for. Wave upon wave of NCR troopers hit us from all directions. We held out for a time, but we were grossly outnumbered, and they had more men than we had ammo. Eventually, our positions collapsed. Elder Elijah
This
was
isn't
nowhere to be
one of these
found,
conversations
so
where the
McNamara
character
took
should
charge
just
and led
turn
the
around
remainder
and
of us
talk
on
to
a
you.
counteroffensive west. We lost a lot of men and women, but we broke through and made it here. Make no mistake, McNamara saved this chapter that day.
We already know who Elijah is, but let's ask the question anyways.
Who was Elijah more like? He was our elder before McNamara. Bright guy, but just between you and me, he was a little off. Our mission is to recover and preserve the technology of the past, but Elijah wanted more. He sought ways to improve upon technology, make it better. When we found Helios 1, he was like a kid in a candy store, kept talking about the potential and a grand design never realized. He even insisted we set up our base there, against the objection of nearly every paladin. What followed is a whole other story. Bye.
Yep. When you compare that experience of just having a character stay in their seat and not stand up and talk to you, to the way The Witcher 3 did it, where you would talk to a character and it would straight up load a completely different part of the game code, I wouldn't say Witcher 3 even did a great job with it, because there was some glitching and some visual issues of loading in and popping out.
2 hours of weapons training every morning. It is a good way to start the day.
By modern game standards, I think just doing something closer to Witcher 3 makes a lot of sense. Where you make sure the characters are in a good position and they are actually facing each other when talking, and you spend more energy than what this game obviously does to make sure that the characters seem like they're actually talking to each other.
Thank you for asking, Veronica.
Like normal human people. Let's talk to this
Hello.
one.
Can I help you with something? Bye. Power armor is pretty intricately made. It's not an easy thing to fix.
Let me just check these guys' inventory. This one has nothing. This
You're
one
making me carry the heavy.
has nothing. I got rid of all of my laser rifles that would have had me just hand one of my laser rifles.
Yes, can I help you?
Here we go.
No idea. Sorry. Later.
So it's almost certainly an initiate. So if we can run around and find the other initiates. They're probably in the classroom. Yeah, it would make a lot of sense. It would be one of the named initiates who misplaced something. Oh, I see it on this guy's belt. So this is just a game of chase. Do we run faster?
Does Ramos know you're walking around without a guard? Does Ramos know you're walking? McNamara has done a pretty good job, given the situation he was handed.
Why does he have a laser pistol on his...
Only a few people get to venture outside, usually to trade for food.
Like, why does he have a gun?
So don't get any ideas.
Do any of the other characters have guns on them? Yeah, that one has a gun on them. So that probably wasn't the way to go. All the lockers are empty. Could probably just wait here. Find the other initiates, or we could just wander around.
Hey.
Our former elder Elijah was obsessed
Does Ramos
with new
know
technology.
you're walking around without a
That's
guard?
why we were at Helios in the first place.
The principles of
I have important work to do, so no time to talk.
Hello, outsider.
Let's go back up here and see if we find anybody else that we can talk to. So we now have access to this. So somebody shot them. Friendly fire accident. Chains that bind. What are chains that bind? So as we continue down this quest of disempowering the father, access Father Elijah's notes at the comms terminal with Veronica. Return to Veronica with Veronica to the Brotherhood of Steel. elder with evidence that the Brotherhood's misguided judgment. Right now we're really doing this. So we could go... Could also find the missing patrols, and we really want to do that too.
Someone blew up the monorail the NCR uses to travel to the Strip and back. We should use this time to strike.
Okay. Let's ask her if she knows about a missing laser rifle.
Yeah? Later.
What?
Yes, what is it? Bye.
Veronica.
Good to see you again. What can I help you with?
Still have nothing to say to this guy.
Only a few people get to venture outside, usually to trade for food.
Good to see you again. What can I help you with?
Nope, that was the same guy. Moved.
You're being watched, so don't get any ideas.
Hello, outsider.
Scribe
You're
Taggart,
being watched. It's your
so don't get
favorite
any
student.
ideas.
Jammed minigun.
Hello, outsider.
Hello again, my friend. I hope you've been finding... Later.
So I guess we can talk to this guy.
Found the missing patrols, or was something else on your mind? I can spare... Bye.
Would there be a way to get under here and find a laser gun? There. Here you have a super sledge, T-48 power armor, plasma pistol, plasma rifle, T-45D power helmet. So there's a whole other section here I didn't see before.
What is it, outsider? Have you discovered anything? Yes. I know the loss of the patrols has weighed heavily on his mind for some time. That was when I first began to seriously question his ability to lead us. It's strange that he would ask you to find mission discs on them, however. The missing paladins were all on standard patrols, which don't need them. Only brothers sent on special assignments are given mission discs. If you should find any on the lost patrol... It's not that I dislike the Elder, but I strongly disapprove of his current style of leadership. We're safe, yes, but at what cost? After lifting the lockdown, the first thing I'd do is send scouts out to recon the area. We need to know what's going on out there. Next, I'd resume patrols in the near vicinity, and begin sending search teams out to the spots the scouts reported were relatively safe. It's standard procedure when a chapter relocates to an area, but standard procedure wasn't our last Elder's style, either.
Let's ask this question.
I could hardly call myself head paladin if I didn't. It's one of the first things every initiate learns when they start training. What about it? I could be wrong, but I think that's a dead end. McNamara's always followed orders, and we've been incommunicado since fleeing Helios. What did you have in mind? Elijah was a strange one.
Exhaust all the
His even
dialogue
becoming
here as
elder
much
was
as
highly
possible.
questionable, seeing as how he was a scribe. Typically, only paladins are eligible. But an exception was made in his case on account of him being a genius. Unfortunately, whatever scientific acumen he had didn't extend to tactics. Trying to defend Helios was a blunder of the worst kind. And
Too much
many of the
dialogue.
senior
We've
paladins,
really
myself included,
done nothing in this
advised him to
episode.
fight a retreating action. We never did find out. Helios was the worst god. It's a travesty is what it is.
There we go.
Later.
Exhaust all that dialogue. Don't really care. Don't think I'm gonna find the laser gun either. I could just bring the laser rifle and see if that's good enough. But I do think that there is probably a case here where I am supposed to talk to probably not the non-named characters, but the named characters. But she didn't know anything about the gun.
Well, okay. Later.
We went in there, we tried to talk to everybody. We talked to the one person that was important here. Just a lot of setup here. Way too much setup. Unless it is a case where somebody put a laser pistol in a trash can. And this is just supposed to be a find the hidden laser pistol. I think you're supposed to be talking to somebody.
Hello, outsider.
Yes, can I help you? No, no idea. Sorry. Later.
See, I don't understand why I can ask Initiate Stanton and nobody else. Where are the other initiates that are named? This really highlights how you can end up wasting a lot of time in these games too, just by the natural process of having characters programmed to wander around and work on their own schedules instead of having characters just be in one place. And if you were gonna like write a walkthrough guide as far as
Does Ramos know you're walking around without a guard?
if you're gonna write a walkthrough guide of how you would find the person to talk to, right people to talk to, how do you write that? You would have to say at certain times this character tends to be in this one location. That's the best you could possibly say. just following the same thing. So could we close the door here? Crouch down, make a safety save, and then see what happens if we hack a terminal here. Lose karma. Not that that matters. Stairway. Starting. Alright, starting is 5 correct, so exciting would be more than 3 different. So it can't be that. Stealing is that and this is Lorenzo's computer. Right, so I lost some karma doing that, but overall I don't think anybody's mad at me, which is all I was really concerned about. I think it might just be smarter to come up here, and then this is what I thought of doing before. Just come over here, just wait. Wait an hour, wait another hour. Stanton, Steele,
Yeah?
Watkins.
Bye.
So there seems to be only 4 initiates.
Does Ramos know you're walking around with...
Hardin owes his life to McNamara.
So that didn't work.
The bunker takes a little getting used to, doesn't it?
Alright, so I'm going to have to give up on the finding who lost the laser pistol for a while. In favor of talking to this guy. This would be turret control. Hacking this would be very easy, but doing it without being seen.
Something I can help you with? That's an old principle that's been around since the Brotherhood was founded. It basically means that you have to obey a superior officer. It's pretty much common sense, but it gets invoked a lot when people get pissy about following orders. If you're curious, I'll give you access to the data store entry on it. You'd probably be the first to read it in years, if not decades. Bye.
So now we're running back to the data stores. Just feels like there would be a faster way to do all of this. Guess again we'll just close the doors so nobody sees us. We'll hide. We'll make a safety save. And we'll take 1 laser pistol. And we'll just see if that's good enough.
Hello, outsider. Have you found it? I need to give my report to Hardin soon. Then we have nothing further to talk about. Later.
did you get that eyebot? I've never seen one modified quite like that.
Yeah, unless it was just like decorated somewhere on one of these targets.
Where did you get that eyebot? I've never seen one modified quite like that.
Another terminal, but guess we can lose a little bit of karma and hack. Insects. Religion, I don't think would match. Receptors. Vaporize. Personnel. Can't be personnel. Could be pacifists. No, I don't think that lines up with 2 either. Considers. Replicate. Instincts is the word. Religious. So yeah, it really is ridiculous to even have a karma system if you're just going to encourage the player to ignore it. Well, fortified, probably. It's going to eliminate some things. Let's go with summoning. Alright, we know that's not right either. So could it be lieutenant? I don't think lieutenant matches 2 letters in summoning. Scattered? Does scattered match 2 things in something? No. Southeast. No. Scientist. Does that match 2 letters? Oh, I really hate this. At this point, I think a mod to just auto hack is definitely recommended. And one way you could fix this certainly is that you could just have like a 50% chance of auto hacking based on luck. Countries. Okay. I think that's going to say continued. Okay, so 4 were right in countries, 2 were right in continued. Could it be? Certainly. I don't think it can. Could it be vaporize? Don't think so. Could it be locations? No. Could it be listening? Distances? Could it be histories? I think it has to be histories here. Do I want to risk it? The H would be different from D. That would be one of the 4 changes. Then the IST would be the same. Then the A and the O would be different. That'd be your second change. And then the N and the R would be your third change. Right. Yeah. Let's pretend like we read all of these. So it does just kind of feel like what is going to happen here. Let's take this Nikola Tesla and you, because I think that's a book. So, yeah. Seems like if you create a coup, you're going to end up alienating half of the people. And the fact that this is not searchable makes me think the laser pistol is there. Which, let's just wait an hour. What is it, 2 in the morning? Let's wait several hours. Let's see if she shows up. Anybody coming? Wait another hour.
How may... Hello? Can I help you with something? Yes. No. If you... I suppose... Bye.
I guess maybe that doesn't mean anything, that these are not accessible. Man, we've spent a lot of time today. And we're still running towards the data stores, then we need to get out of here and just prepare for the next location. There was so much ambition today to run around to different cities and
Someone blew up the monorail the NCR uses
and
to travel to
investigate more things in general. And all we managed to do is make it to this Hidden Valley quest.
I'd kill to go outside and gather some specimens.
Would there be some way that we could get under the floor here?
You're being... Hello again, my friend.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't think I want to support the coup thought. I think that's probably just going to create a problem. And if I am going to support it, I think I want to support it via our companion, Veronica, not via the head paladin character. Yeah, there's no laser in this section, even though this is technically part of the base still, I think. This would be, I guess, the last place to look. Are you perhaps supposed to do some parkouring? But yeah, I don't think you're supposed to just find a gun. I think that would be a little too random. I think the move is to probably talk to somebody, but I'm not sure how the story is even supposed to go. So, instant load there. That's nice. And the storm has gone away. But yeah, quest-wise, if we were to do this one, that wants me to go to a random location here that's unmarked, which I think is probably what I would like to do, but also I want to do the optional quest here and investigate a Air Force base and Black Mountain. Yeah, seems to be in part Black Mountain. We have a secondary quest here that we got from Camp Karen. And then we have Crimson Caravan quests here. We haven't started Mr. House. We haven't moved the main story forward. This left my heart. Find a way to free the slaves is like way down here in Cottonwood Overlook, I think. Maybe. Or yeah, I think that's where that one is. So there's just a lot to do. And unfortunately, none of it is going to point us back to Sloan or Quarry Junction, which we should go to Sloan and Quarry Junction, but then we're just going to have more quests. And I guess that's really all this is boiling down to, is do more quests, get more XP, finish more things. Oh, apparently I should have read that as far as a way of figuring out that. Show only active quests, show all notes. A lot of those notes obviously not connected. We still don't have a real relationship with the Brotherhood of Steel. I have a decent amount of weight at the moment. There is also reason to go back to Prim at some point, and probably going to be some reason to think about going back to a lot of these cities. We can find subquests that would make sense for that. Unfortunately, though, we really are just kind of in a silly situation here where we spent over 2 hours, it feels like, in this episode, and we accomplished almost nothing. There's increasing number of perks that we're unlocking through doing quests, considering how many of the perks are just intensive training. The sad thing here is if I was to play Fallout 4, I probably would just take intensive training over and over again. Unless they can give better perks, more valuable perks. And then if I can get all the stats in New Vegas up to 10, 10, 10, 10, then all the skills will be at the maximum, and then there probably won't be that many more opportunities to unlock perks, but I would try to unlock perks. Certainly would help to have the full map unveiled. We do have a slightly better understanding of where the map seems like it's going to go. It does seem like there's still a possibility that there will be nothing on this side, but otherwise it does seem like there's going to be quite a lot all in the middle, increasingly things close together. Alright, one more safety save. And yeah, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching. Thanks.